Alright, so moving forward, and in this lesson, we're going to talk about the control reaction from the like the way the fluid will have to get emitted from those sections where the disintegration we're going to get start. So as everybody could guess very easily, once I start playing with the timeline, obviously the fluid will start getting emitted from all of the sections because the particles are all over the surface of the mesh. Before we move ahead, let's say under the fluid emitter, we do have something called the Omni, and the rate percent is 100. So I think this is a little bit less. So we're gonna go for, let's say, 500. And the max distance here is 1, so which is quite high. We're gonna dip that thing to 0.5 or maybe 0.35. And for the, like, in this case, the continuous motion has to take place. So fluid has to follow the moving sections of the primary chunks of the end cloth. So obviously we need to give the motion streak, okay, just to avoid some stamps, or you can say the patchy kind of result inside the fast moving fluids. And we need to get rid of the jitter also. Okay, so that would be all. And just to make it a little bit quick, I've dipped down the base resolution to 45 only. Okay, so obviously if I just going to play the timeline, you're going to see from all over the surface of the mesh, you could see that the fluids are now started getting emitted, so which is obviously very bad and very false way of creating an effect. So now let's just start about some expressions. I'm gonna put that thing to stop. Okay, so let's roll that thing back. Now let's say for the reaction, we need to first of all select the ash_gold particle, and we need to use something called the per point emission rates. All right, the moment we click this, what will going to happen, our fluid system has now been capable enough to track and to take care of the per particle attributes. Okay, and if you're guessing very right, then we're going to give an expression for the density emission of the fluid when the speed of the moving particles is greater than 1. Obviously that would be the case. So if you're going to open the fluid emitter, you're going to find something interesting called use per point rates that has been switched on the moment we use the per point emission rates. Okay, this is extremely important attribute of the fluid, and I really would like to appreciate the efforts of the Autodesk guys. They really had did an amazing job. Moving forward, if you're going to open the ash_gold particles, you're going to find a per particle attribute, something called fluid emitter 1 rate pp. Okay, so this signifies that the fluid will going to be get emitted from the per particle attribute, and it will gonna actually respond all the per particle attributes. And this fluid emitter 1 rate pp is the rate of the emission of the fluids. All right, so the story will very going to be simple. Of course, we need to go to the creation expressions, and we don't need to change certain things. First of all, again, we have to copy that stuff, since there is nothing inside the runtime before dynamics, so one has to be very careful. I just did a mistake. I just creating all of the scripts and just forgot to bring that over here in the runtime before dynamics, and was just playing the timeline, and as a result of that, the velocity is not updating since the first frame. So just because of that, all the scripts were just like a kind of a waste. They were not getting utilized. So one really need to be very careful. Like before you proceed, you move ahead, be sure to check the numeric mode of your the ash_gold particles, so that the update of the velocity should be there. If it is not getting updated, then there is no use for the script. All right, moving forward, let's say we're just going to start typing up. Let's say if the ash_gold shape dot fluid emitter 1 rate pp. Oh, wait a second. Let's say if ash underscore goal shape dot speed is greater than 1, then we're going to take care of this thing. This should equals to 1. That means the fluid emission will going to start taking place. Okay. Else, same thing, just for now only, because again we're going to change that up. Control V and like this, and we're going to click the edit. Okay. So now we are just ready to see and to check the expressions. Okay. And I'm gonna take a little break because this effect gonna take a little bit of the time. So not to put you on the hold, I'm gonna put a pause and we're gonna come back as soon as I'm gonna reach to frame 50 approx. Okay, just to check the working of that scripts. Alright, so now we come back. So absolutely fine. The settings are working pretty much amazing. And I just did another same mistake while copying the expressions. I just forgot to change the value from 1 to the 0, because if you're not going to change that up again, the script is very waste. So again, be careful while copying stuff. So now we do have to consider that dye point system again, because I don't want the continuous emission of the fluids from these enclosed particles. And obviously it will be highly computational for any system, because these particles are really moving at a very large distance. So again, the section is pretty much done. So I guess we do one thing. We're gonna take a break, and then we're gonna come back and do the rest of the part. Okay, so I'm gonna put end to there.